Today we're going to learn how to solve multi-step inequalities. So at the end of the chapter, or at the end of this lesson, you should know how to solve inequalities that take more than 2 steps. To solve a multi-step inequality, you do it the same way you solve a multi-step equation. So following the undo addition, undo subtraction, undo multiplication and division, inverse operations, those are all the same. Let's look at example 1. Example 1 says, what are the solutions of 9 plus 4t is greater than 21? Check the solutions. So we know that it's an inequality. It's going to have multiple solutions. So I'm going to first copy down the problem. 9 plus 4t is greater than 21. Now, if this were an equation, it would be 9 plus 4t equals 21. And we would solve it by eliminating the addition and subtraction first. So we're going to do the same thing here. This will be my equation. I'm going to get my variable by itself by subtracting 9 from both sides, just like I would an equation. So those cancel. My 4t drops down. I still have is greater than, and then 21 minus 9 is 12. Then divide both sides by 4, and I get t is greater than 3. Now, to check my solution, I just pick a number that's greater than 3. So I'm going to pick 5. And I go ahead and I plug 5 into my equation. So 9 plus 4 times 5 is greater than 21. So this gives me 20 plus 9 is 29. That's greater than 21. So that's my answer. T is greater than 3. That's an ugly 3 up there, so I rewrote it. Example 2. What are the solutions of this inequality? Well, don't get all worked up because it's kind of ugly. Take it one side at a time. So if it bothers you, you can just look at one side here. So since I have parentheses, I'm going to distribute first. So distribute that 3 to everything in parentheses. So I have 3t plus 3 times 1 is 3 minus 4t. Now I can combine my like terms. I have 3t and 4t. That gives me negative t plus 3. So I've simplified that side of the inequality. Now I want to simplify the rest of it, so I'm just going to rewrite this part here, greater than or equal to negative 5. So I just took this part here, the left side, and I simplified it by distributing and then combining like terms. Now I have a two-step inequality. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, and I get negative t. That drops down. Watch your signs. Those cancel. Is greater than or equal to negative 8. Now I need to get t to be positive, so I'm going to multiply by negative 1. That changes the sign. But every time you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign. So negative 1 times negative t is t, and negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8, but I'm going to flip the sign and make that less than or equal to. And then I can pick an answer. So I'm going to pick 0 because it's less than or equal to 8 and it's easy to use. So then I'm going to plug that in. So 3 times 0 plus 1 minus 4 times 0 is greater than or equal to negative 5. So this gives me 1. 1 times 3 is 3. So that's 3. And this is minus 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 3 is greater than or equal to negative 5. So that's true. So let's take a moment here and let's make a note of this. This is important. When you multiply or divide the whole inequality, that means everything, both sides, by a negative number, you flip the sign. So that means if it's greater than, it flips to less than. If it's less than or equal to, it flips to greater than or equal to. You need to memorize this. Let's look at example 3. It says, what are the solutions of 6n minus 1 is less than or equal to 3n plus 8? So I'm going to rewrite the inequality just to make it easy on myself. And then I'm going, this time I have n's on both sides, so I have to get the n on the same side. So I'm going to subtract 3n from both sides. Okay, let's try this again without the dog barking. So I'm going to subtract 3n from both sides, and I'm left with 3n minus 1 is less than 8. Then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. That gives me 3n. Those cancel, is less than 9. And then divide both sides by 3, and I get n is less than 9. Again, check your solution. Pick an easy number less than 9. How about 0? Plug it in. 6 times 0 minus 1 is less than 3 times 0 plus 8. That gives me negative 1 is less than 8. That's true. So my answer stays. Let's look at example 4. What are the solutions of 10 minus 8a is greater than or equal to 2 times the quantity 5 minus 4a? So again, just like the other one we did, we'll do one side at a time. So we'll simplify this right side. So I'm going to distribute 2 times 5 and 2 times negative 4a. That gives me 10 minus 8a. And let's just recopy my sign. And then I'm going to recopy the left side. All right, now, if I look here, do you notice anything about this? Well, let's see. If you didn't notice, we can get our a's on the same side, so I'm going to add 8a to both sides. They're both minus 8a, so it doesn't matter. My 10 drops down. Those cancel, is less than or equal to 10. Those cancel. So now I have a true statement that I can't simplify, and my variable has been removed. So if you remember when this happened with linear equations, we said that it was infinite solutions. And that also works with inequalities. Okay, now it's your turn. What I suggest you do is pause the video at this point, solve the inequality, and then hit play and see if you get the same answer that I do. I will be solving these rather quickly since I don't expect that you are taking notes as I solve them. I expect that you have solved them ahead of time and are just checking for a solution. So here I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. 5f drops down. Those cancel. I get is less than 15. Divide both sides by 5. And you get f is less than 3. Number 2, pause the video, solve it yourself, and then play it back to check. Again, I will be doing this rather quickly. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides to get rid of the minus 3. 6n drops down. Those cancel, is greater than negative 15. Divide both sides by 6. And you get n is greater than, they're both divisible by 3, negative 5 halves. And it's okay that you end up with a fraction. Number 3, pause the video, solve it, and then come back to check. So I'm going to distribute first. 3k minus 15 plus 9k is greater than or equal to negative 3. Add the k's, you get 12k minus 15 is greater than or equal to negative 3. Add 15 to both sides. You get 12k is greater than or equal to 12. Divide by 12. And you get k is greater than or equal to 1. Number 4. Find the inequality symbol. Simplify. So I'm going to distribute 24y minus 48 minus 2y. Negative 4 stays the same. Combine your y's, you get 22y minus 48. Add 48 to both sides. You get 44 is less than or equal to 22y. Divide both sides by 22. And you get 2 is less than or equal to y.